Ariella, don't forget what you're going to ask.
I'm sorry.
No, don't forget.
You have to have
It has been the whole world. Tamar,
faith.
you're living in a world that one button could destroy the whole planet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of world you're living in. We're not talking about war where we're going to send troops over here and they're going to send troops over there. There's going to be some battlefield somewhere. You're not talking about that. You're talking about a little something that could destroy all of humanity.
But at the same time, you have to have faith. I mean, you know, God said, and it's always been that way. People were always scared, and then we're still alive. There is still.
Marlene, can you pass me a Tanakh behind you, please? It's one of the whiter black books. Yeah, anyone.
Sitting on a plane with the student, Jewish secular students, and he was asking,
You okay?
aren't you worried about the Cold War? It was like a and he says, that gave us a few mitzvot. I have to worry about what I need to do. If I have to eat kosher to do this, I leave it to God to take care of the rest.
I mean, that's where I end up, because that's the only thing. I said, well, okay, so I have my little life. I'll just do the best I can, because it seems too big.
It is too big. I mean, those of you in Maryland, you remember the Cuban crisis? Watching that on television, we were children. That was terrifying. We thought we were all going to be nuked the next day. Absolutely, that was terrifying. Watching that, I remember exactly where I was that moment. Terrified. Yeah. Yeah, we were in high school. We were 15. We were 15 and watching that.
My history class had other problems, and we realized
not the Kennedy assassination, the Cuban crisis. The Cuban crisis.
Okay. That's his problem. We should take care of it.
That is true.
Yeah, but then you also
You know what? Stop watching the news. There's nothing good in the news. Stop watching.
Well, we can be a little bit active by calling the Congress. I mean, you know,
people that don't.
It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. Either way. Either way.
There's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do about it. Either way. It's out of control.
Worrying about it.
Lord, how many Tanakhs do we have?
The only thing you have to have faith in is that they know if they press that button, they're getting rid of themselves.
We have a few from Korah.
Even if the Congress will deny anything.
Yeah, if you can. I see one here. We have one in my bookcase.
That's exactly right.
So regardless, it's
What
going to happen. For who? I don't know, but like Rachel said, it's probably, I don't know. Maybe
You have to just let it go.
It's not beyond us to understand.
there's another one.
Let's learn Tanakh together. No, it's for you. Tamar, I'm learning for you.
There's another one.
We have a bunch of small ones, I think, in the other room.
What is this?
Tanakh.
Oh, the Tanakh.
Yeah. That book.
I read that book in English.
Yeah, that's the book that we're...
Is this Hebrew? Share it with you. Where do you want us to look?
Page 1012.
Are they all 10, 12? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Give us the section. Which book?
Page 1012.
No, but
What's the book?
They're all art scrolls, no?
Even some are smaller and some are
Oh, Isaiah.
They're all the same
Okay.
page numbers. I know.
All right.
It's Isaiah, chapter 35. Is that what you're looking for?
10:13
Isaiah
in
36.
English. 10:13 in English.
Is there another? Anybody want a Hebrew? That another one? Don't think we have
Those
more.
people must have been terrified at that time too, the Assyrian Empire attacks. Terror is not new to us.
Not
Look
new
at
to
the
us.
pogroms and everything else. We couldn't have even imagined a nuclear bomb then. But the terror of knowing, that at any moment they could come in and kill you and burn your house down.
Who's this?
What?
No, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, we've always had, this is talking about the Assyrian Empire coming in and.
Page 30, Perek Lamed Vav. When Rachel told us about ignorance, I once asked Rav Peretz, how could there be rabbis who are against what's happening in Israel today, against the state of Israel, against the Jewish people being in Israel? He said, because they don't study Tanakh. I said, Rabbi, you're talking about big rabbis. He said, well, they still don't study Tanakh. He said, even those who do, he said, the great people can make mistakes. He said, and the greatest mistake you can make is that great people cannot make mistakes. This piece of Tanakh, our Jews, one book we turn to. And these are our Nevi'im, the Ketuvim, the Torah, the words of our prophets. History repeats itself. We know that saying. It's true. It repeats itself all the time. Like Paul just said, terror is not new to the world. It's not new to us. We are the most terrorized people that have been around. And it's a long story, but we don't have to read all of it. Just parts of it together. That's why we all have it in front of us. If you like to share,
Okay, you reading
That's
here or
fine.
here? Okay, no, sure.
Hezekiah HaMelech was one of the most righteous kings that ever lived in our history. You know, we talk about the Jewish empire that was. The Jewish empire that was mostly evil. Our kings were mostly out of connection with Hashem. They were mostly doing all kinds of terrible idol worshipping and murdering and all kinds of things that we would wish they did not do. Hezekiah was an exception to this part of our history. I used to live imagine that tent outside is my house, and where we're sitting right now is a wall. That wall was built by Hezekiah HaMelech. It's older than the Kotel, than the Western Wall. I used to live that far away from it. Like from my window you could see it. It was a wall built by Hezekiah HaMelech in this generation. Right now, in this story. Vayi ב-14 shana lamelech Hezekiah was the 14th year of King Hezekiah, that Sancherib, king of Ashur. Ashur was Assyria. עלה סנחריב מלך אשור על כל ערי יהודה הבצורות והתפסם. That King Sancherib attacked all the fortified cities of Yehuda, of the Jewish kingdom, and he captured them. וישלח מלך אשור את רב שקה. This king sent a man named Rav Shakeh מלכיש ירושלים. He sent him to Jerusalem, and המלך Hezekiah, the king Hezekiah, who was ruling over Jerusalem. You might need to understand the context of this story. I believe that at this point in our history, my wife can correct me, we were almost just 2 tribes left in the Jewish people, right?
Yeah.
It was just us. The 10 tribes were already lost.
Mm-hmm.
You're left of 2 tribes. Some historians estimate that you had about 40,000 Jews living in Jerusalem, and they were the last Jews around that we knew of on earth. This is it. This is the people of Israel. This is a moment in history that if something went wrong, none of you would have been sitting here. These are every one of your grandparents. Somebody in this story is your great-great-great-grandfather, grandmother. The last tens of thousands of Jews left in the world. Eliakim comes out, the son of Chilkiyahu, Asher Labayit. He was the ruler of the palace. He was in charge of the palace. V'Shevna Sofer, and Shevna the scribe, V'Yoach ben Asaf HaMazkir, and the secretary, Yoach the son of Asaph. V'Yomar lehem Rav Shakeh tells them, Imrun al Chizkiyahu, you go tell your king. Ka amar HaMelech HaGadol, Melech Ashur, our great king, the king of Assyria, said, Ma ha'bitachon hazeh asher batachta. Who are you relying on to be safe? Who are your allies? And now we can read into English a little bit. I say that you have spoken but idle words of the lips, claiming that you had strategy and power for battle. Now upon whom have you placed your trust, that you have rebelled against me? Behold, you have relied upon the support of the splintered cane, upon Egypt. What was Egypt, by the way? What was Egypt at that point in time? Egypt was a great nation.
Still?
At this point, yeah, they were a big nation that Israel was relying on for support. They were allies. Not the first time we were allies with Egypt.
Against Assyria.
Right. I mean, who are you relying on? You know, when the terrorists mock us. Oh, America and Israel. It's always America and Israel. We're relying on each other. And now what we're feeling a lot right now is, are we relying on the right people?
No.
I just have to remind you that once upon a time, America refused to give arms to Israel.
Yes.
And instead we had different allies.
French.
The French.
French.
Can you imagine that we had French,
Yes.
Russians? Can you imagine that we had such allies?
We are in China now.
What?
Netanyahu was in China.
What I'm sharing with you is our allies have always changed over the generations. It's not the first time. Behold, you have relied upon the support of this splintered cane upon Egypt, which if a man leans on it, it will enter his palm and puncture it. So is Paro, king of Egypt, to all who rely on him. And if you will tell me, we trust in Hashem our God, listen, is he not the one whose high places and altars Hezekiah has removed? And he said to Judah and Jerusalem, only before this altar may you prostrate yourselves. Hezekiah got rid of all the private practices of religion in Israel and centralized Judaism in the temple, the way that Hashem had told him to. That we don't want any backyard, altars going on, only in Jerusalem. So now provide a security guarantee to my master, the king of Ashur, and I will give you 2,000 horses if you can put riders on them. How dare you turn away even a single minor captain from among the servants of my master and depend on Egypt for chariots and horsemen? And now is it without the consent of Hashem that I have come up to this land to destroy it? Hashem told me, go up against this land and destroy it. He's sending this man, Rav Shakeh, to Jerusalem to intimidate imagine, he's standing outside the walls of Jerusalem with his entire army, the army of Ashur that's taken over the world until then. And he's telling the last 40,000 Jews over there, hey, listen, we're here to destroy you. Don't rely on your friends. They're not going to be able to help you. And that God that you think is going to help you, your king is responsible for taking away his altars. Psychological warfare is going on over here. And they tell him, please speak with your servants in Aramaic, for we understand it. And do not speak Hebrew with us within the earshot of the people on the wall. What is he telling them? Change your language. Why?
No, because we understand what we're saying.
We understand. We don't want them to understand. You're ruining the morale for the people. But Rav Shakeh said, is it your master and to you that my master has sent me to speak these words? Is it not to the people sitting on the wall who will eat their own excrement and drink their own urine with you? Rav Shakeh then stood up and called out in a loud voice in Hebrew, and he said, hear the words of the great king, the king of Ashur. Thus said the king, let not Hezekiah delude you, for he cannot save you. And let not Hezekiah reassure you with Hashem, saying, Hashem will surely save us, and the city shall not be delivered into the hands of the king of Ashur. Do not listen to Hezekiah. For thus said the king of Ashur, make peace with me, and come out to me. Then each man will be able to eat the fruits of his grapevine, each man the fruits of his fig tree, then each man will drink the water of his well, until I come and I bring you to a land like your land, a land of grain and wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Meaning I'm going to take you guys and bring you somewhere else, relocate you. Mm-hmm. Remember those words?
Yeah.
We've been promised this before in our history. Lest Hezekiah tries to entice you, saying Hashem will save us. Did the gods of the nations save any person in his land from the king of Ashur? He's calling out to the Jewish people on the wall. He's telling them, remember we attacked those countries? Their gods didn't help them. Where are the gods of... In Hebrew, I don't know how to read New Testaments. Where are the gods of Hamat and Arpad? Where are the gods of Sepharvaim? Did they come and save Shomron for me? Samaria? These are all different nations that Ashur had already conquered. Which among all the gods of the land saved their land from my hand? That Hashem should save Jerusalem from my hand. Now we know you believe in this Hashem God, but Hashem God isn't going to save you, because the other gods didn't save their nations. The people remained silent and did not answer him a word, for there was a command from the king saying, do not answer him. Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, who was in charge of the palace, came as well. The scribe, the recorder, the Hezekiah with rent garments. They ripped their clothes. They realized that this was the end of Jewish history. This was the end. We're done. Our history is over. We're going to throw in the towel. They're going to be in some history book. They'll make a museum about us in Ashur, and that will be the end of Jewish history. It happened when King Hezekiah heard this. He rent his garments. He donned sackcloth and went to the temple of Hashem. He sent Eliakim, who was in charge of the palace, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the Kohanim, all dressed in sackcloth, to Yeshayahu ben Amos. Isaiah, he was the prophet at the time of Hezekiah. They said to him, "Thus said Hezekiah, today is a day of distress, rebuke, and sacrilege. We are like babies who have entered the birth canal, but the mother has no strength to give birth. If only Hashem your God will hear all the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Ashur, his master, sent to insult the living God, and he will punish him for these words that Hashem your God heard. And may you offer a prayer for the remnant of the people that is still here." Hezekiah realizes that he is the last hope. He's the king. He's the leader. A leader in a time of crisis is you put him to a test. It's easy to be a leader of the people when things are going well. To be a leader in a time of crisis, a leader in a time of big decisions, that's when you judge who is the leader, who is a real leader. So he says, this is above my pay grade. We have to go talk to Hashem. He tells the prophet, you go have one of those prophetic meetings with God and let me know what's going on. Kehillat's servants came to Yeshayahu, and Yeshayahu said to them, "Thus shall you say to your master, thus said Hashem, do not be frightened by the words that you have heard, by which the attendants of King Ashur have blasphemed me. Behold, I am instilling a desire within him. He'll hear a report and return to his land, and I will strike him down by the sword in his own land." Rabshakeh went back and found the king of Ashur fighting against Libnah. Okay, this. But he heard messengers to Hezekiah saying, "Thus shall you speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, and say, do not let your God in whom you trust persuade you, saying, Jerusalem will not be delivered in the hand of the king of Ashur." Page 1017. "Behold, you have heard what the kings of Ashur have done to all the lands. Laying them waste, will you be spared?" Hezekiah took the letters from the hand of the messengers and read each of them and went up to the temple of Hashem, and Hezekiah spread out each of them before Hashem. Maybe this is the earliest source you find to bringing letters to the temple. Hezekiah then prayed before Hashem and said, "Hashem, master of legions, God of Israel, who dwells atop the cheruvim, you alone are God of all the kingdoms of the world." Hezekiah was a man of incredible faith. There's a Sephardic song dedicated to him, saying, "Limei Chizkiyahu nichzakti." We yearn to return back to the days of Hezekiah. They say that even the little children in Jerusalem, the little girls and the little boys, if you had a question regarding if your food was kosher or if you were allowed to do something on Shabbat, all you had to do was grab a little child off the street and tell them. Ask them and they would tell you. Because Hezekiah had led the people with he was a personal role model for the people. Everybody wanted to be like Hezekiah. You made heaven and earth. It says, "So now Hashem our God, save us from his hand, and all the kingdoms of the world shall know that you alone are Hashem." Yeshayahu son of Amos sent word to Hezekiah saying, "This is what Hashem said. Regarding what you prayed to me concerning Sancheriv, the king of Ashur, this is the word which Hashem has spoken about." It looks like a little song that Hashem sends back to the people. Listen to what Hashem says. Hashem is saying, this is what you should tell the enemies of the Jewish people. The maiden daughter of Zion, she scorns you, she mocks you. The daughter of Jerusalem, she shakes her head at you. Whom have you insulted and blasphemed? Against whom have you raised your voice and lifted your eyes on high? Against the Holy One of Israel. By the hand of your servants you have insulted my Lord and said, with my multitudes I climbed the highest mountains to the ends of Lebanon. Have you not heard from the distant past that I have done it? From earliest days that I formed it. Now I have brought it about to raise into desolate heaps your fortified cities. Because you provoked me and your arrogance has risen unto my ears, I shall place my hook into your nose, my bridle into your lips, and I shall make you return by the route in which you came. And for this shall be the sign for you. You will eat this year of the aftercrop, the second year fruits from tree stumps. In the third year sow and harvest, plant vineyards and eat their fruits. Then the survivors that remain in the house of Yehudah shall take root below and produce fruit above. From Jerusalem shall emerge a remnant. And survivors from Mount Zion, the zeal of Hashem, master of legions, shall do this. This is a verse we say to this day, whenever a tragedy happens in the Jewish people, that we will never be cut down. Kim Yerushalayim tetzeh she'erit. And then there's the promise from Hashem. Ka'amar Adonai l'melech Ashur. This is what God says to the king of Ashur. Lo yavo la'ir hazot v'lo yoreh sham chetz. You will not enter into the city, and an arrow will not come over our walls. V'lo yikadmena magen v'lo yishpoch alea solala. He will not approach it with a shield, and he will not pour a ramp onto it. Baderech asher ba'a bayashuv. He will leave Jerusalem the same way he came here. V'la'ir hazot lo yavon. The king of Ashur will not touch the city, Nu'um Hashem. V'ganoti al ha'ir hazot la'oshia l'ma'ani u'lema'an David avdi. And I will He's getting really worked up for Hashem over here. I will protect the city for my sake and for the sake of my servant David. Vayetze malach, and an angel came out. Some say that there were 180,000 Assyrian soldiers surrounding Jerusalem. 180,000. Modern historians, by the way, disagree with the rabbi's number. They say there were about 200,000. Okay, the only does better. Fine. Surrounded Jerusalem. They went to sleep that night. Vayetze malach Hashem, and an angel of Hashem came out. Vayakem b'machaneh Ashur, and he started hitting the camp of Ashur. 185,000. There were 185,000 soldiers. Veshkimu b'boker, and they woke up in the morning. V'nekulam pegarim etim, and all of them were dead bodies. Vayisa v'ilech v'yashov Sancheriv melech Ashur v'yeshev b'Ninveh. He left and he sat. Sancheriv left in Ninveh. He went to the temple of his god, and this is where the story ends. It's not the first time that we have, these are the Jews, and there are people that are hell-bent on destroying the Jewish people. And Hashem says an arrow won't come over these walls. Your feet will not step foot in the city. It looks like a scary world. Iran, whoever is going to be the next one. We are on an eternal promise from Hashem. Yeah, we can get hurt. Jews can get hurt. We lost 10 tribes here. We lost 10 tribes. But we weren't wiped out. We lost 6 million Jews. 6 million. I don't think we can fathom that number. It wasn't just the Jews that lost. The non-Jewish world, what is it? 50 million people died in World War II? 50 million, do you know what that is? But we were wiped out.
The same thing could happen here with a nuclear weapon.
We have to know that we have a guarantee. The guarantee is that we will be here forever. Not necessarily here in San Diego. But Hashem will take care of us. But you have to be like Hezekiah. You have to have leaders that know that Hashem is going to take care of us. And when you have leaders, there was a rabbi once said that a government that does not know to lift its eyes to God will lift its eyes onto Washington. And it's a mistake. If our leaders truly believed in Hashem, all the rallying in the world, and the boycotts in the world, and the screaming and the shouting and the social media noise, it's not going to change the mind of the leaders of this world. But we have to have leaders that believe. They know that it's going to happen. They know that we're going to be safe. Like Hezekiah, like Yeshayahu. Can you imagine what happens to that generation? Their prophet. Yeshayahu says, one arrow won't come over this wall. Those people who went to bed that night.
Terrified.
What do they assume is going to happen the next morning?
Yeah, but they heard, that we don't have it.
Wait, listen.
But
What happened? How did they go to bed that night?
Terrified.
Terrified.
They heard those people on the wall. They saw the soldiers.
Right.
Terrified.
Terrified.
Right.
They woke up in the morning. It sounded just like this. There were birds chirping. I don't know if there were cars driving, but there were dead bodies in the field. Hashem could do the same thing again. The nations of the world should understand that we're not a people to reckon with. We're not people to mess with. The people who hold on to us will be saved. It's not the other way around. We don't have to hold on to anybody. We don't have to grab onto anybody. We don't need allies. We don't. It's a mistake that we think we need allies. We don't need allies. It's nice when we have them. It's nice. It's a good thing. It's a good thing when nations of the world work along with each other. So an ally betrayed us. The whole book is full of allies which betrayed us. Allies which sold our secrets. Allies which gave people the back door to wipe us out. Allies are... They're good as long as the money counts. They're good as long as it's in their interest to be our allies. So what? So it's not going to happen. So American Jewry has become disillusioned with America. Okay, it's not the first time we've become disillusioned with one of our host countries. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to give us a wake-up call. It's a terrifying thing. Because those people went to sleep at night not knowing if they're going to be able to wake up in the morning. But a little bit of emunah will take us a long way. And perhaps instead of large rallies in different places and holding up posters outside of the UN, we should take out Tanakhs and teach them inside of synagogues and tell the little Jewish kids they got nothing to worry about because it's going to be okay. Everything is going to be all right. Sure, the world might blow to pieces. But on one of those pieces, we're all going to be sitting there having a Monday morning class regarding of what's going to happen because that's what Hashem promised us. So Bezrat Hashem, hopefully the world will not blow to pieces until next week, and we'll have our Monday class next week at 10:30. Bezrat Hashem.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
That was most interesting. That was good. Thank you.